Hello everyone, News, Reviews, and More. And I just looked inside my light bulb that I have up there for lighting, and I found 2 bugs. It was pretty cool. Random quote of the day, fact of the day kind of thing. But to get to the point, we're going to be talking about my LA regional trip and how my matchups went and all that stuff. So to begin, woke up around 5 o'clock, did some chores and stuff like that, got a ride to LA regionals. And it was super crowded. Yes, I did get to enter though, which was pretty awesome because a lot of people didn't get to enter, and I'm sorry for you guys, which I want to talk about for a little bit. They have a whole downstairs area. Now, the downstairs area is never used, but it happened to be used on Saturday because of a wrestling tournament. And I looked inside there, and I saw so much room. I think that if it costs $20 per person and minus a couple $20 for the people who have the coupons, and that's 700 people, that's a lot of money right there. Now, since they turned out 400 people, they could add $20 more for each person of that 400 if they just had the regional downstairs. I think the biggest problem with the amount of people, because they had to turn people away, is because there's not enough time for all the rounds. I believe the regional ended like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's pretty crazy. Now, if we had more people that could help out to register, if we had more helpers, if we had less angry people, we would be able to start these regionals at easily 9 o'clock and not 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So if we're starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and ending up till 1 o'clock in the morning, 10 rounds is going to take us 12 hours. Around there, give or take a few hours. So if we start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're all registered and everything, we have 12 hours to get to 9 o'clock at night, and then we have a lot more hours that we would usually be at round 7, we could be at round 12 if we wanted round 12. Pretty much I find the LA regionals, Anaheim regionals, anywhere in California regional should be a YCS. It's ridiculous. But now to get to the main point, that was just my little rant about what we have with the terrible setup there. So yeah, I highly think we should go downstairs in that big room. It may cost a little more to rent, but I don't know, I think they can afford it because they're getting so much income from the extra 400 people. So yeah, I know they're giving away packs too, but that's something else to talk about. So I got there, got online, made it. I was playing windups. You can see my deck profile on my last video. I'll post the annotation right up there. And so got there, played windups. Round 1. Actually, was this before the round this happened? Yes, before the whole YCS. I just hung out with my friends, test played a little bit. YCS, I mean regional. And I have a Pokemon mat, and I was gonna sell it to an old friend of mine. I guess you could say he was a friend. Now he's not anymore due to what happened. So I have my mat, and let's see what happens. I am playing, and he's like, I really like your Pokemon mat, because it's awesome, And I'm like, okay, so I'll sell it to you. I bought it for 70, so I think I could do 75, 80. And he's like, we start negotiating, we do all this negotiation stuff, and blah, 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 we negotiate, and in the end, I end up not selling it to him. So I get up from my table, put my backpack on, and I usually don't like to put my mat in my backpack because it gets all bent up and leaves those wrinkly marks. I get really picky about that, but I get up, and what he happens to do is take it, and I don't realize this because I usually do put my mat in my backpack, always, except for this time because I thought the round 1 was going to start soon. So I go over outside with my friend Chris, and I take off my jacket to put it away because it was really hot, and I look at my backpack, I'm like, my mat's gone, and my friend left already, so he went to go to the vendor room, and so I get pissed. I'm walking around, and the guy who happened, I'm not going to name any names here, but the guy who happened to take it from me, that you'll find out in a little bit, he wanted to buy it from me, came up to me and said, I'll buy it for 80. I'm like, well, I don't have it, so I walk past him, and I'm kind of just pissed off. I'm not talking to him, and I go inside the room and go to the table I was originally at. I just start looking around, and I'm like, okay. I've talked to my friend Chris, and he's like, well, this guy's friends with the vendors, so maybe he happened to give it to the vendors. So from here, I'm thinking, that's possibly true. So I go to the vendor, and I talk to him. I know them. I know 2 of them. that worked at the booth, and the certain booth, because he's friends with those 2 people at the certain booth, and maybe all 4 of them, but I always know 2 of them. I talked to one, and I said, if this guy happens to drop off a mat, let me know. And he said, okay, no problem, I got you, bro. And so I go back to the table. I'm still like worrying where my mat is. I can't trust on one person at the booth to just find my mat for me. So I go back to the table, and I asked the people sitting there, because there's new people sitting there. There were a couple people sitting there when I was negotiating. But I go back to the table, and I happen to ask the people there if you've seen a Pokemon mat. They're like, no, dude, sorry. So then I walk away, and they say, hey, come back here. And then I'm like, And they're like, yeah, the guy you were trying to sell it to took it. I'm like, really? Okay. Can I check your bags? And I checked their bags, and there was nothing inside them. They were really chill about it. Thank you guys for helping me out as well, because they helped me. So they told me that the guy that I wanted to sell it to stole it. And I go and find him, and I go, because he's the same guy that came up to me and told me he'd buy it for 80. So I went and found him, and I said, can I check your bag? And he's like, okay. So he didn't seem like worried about it or anything. He's like, no, I don't have it or anything like that, and I didn't take it, blah, 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 blah. And his friend was there too, and I checked his bag. I checked both their bags, and it wasn't there. So I decided to go back to the vendor booth, and I want to thank my friend Chris, because without Chris, I probably would have never got this. You can go subscribe to his channel right up there. His name is Top Deck Pro, and without him, I probably wouldn't be able to find the mat, because he has helped me so much with this thing. So I owe him a lot. Anyways, so I go back to the vendor room, and I talk to this vendor, and I'm like, There's 2 vendor guys there I know, and one of them doesn't know me too well, but I know who he is because he used to go to my locals. So I'm going to talk to the guy that that doesn't know me too well. I go, did this person happen to drop off a mat? And he said, yeah, this guy has it. And I was like, what? He just said his own name has it. I'm like, okay. So I walk around, I ask the guys I don't know what their names are, and their names aren't the name he said. So I go back and ask him again, did this guy happen to drop off a mat? He's like, yeah, this guy has it. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So the names are very similar. So I go over and tell the guy, hey, let me get my mat. And he's like, okay, fine. And he takes out the tube, and they're like little brown tubes that you put your mats in. And I pull out the mat, and it happens to be my Pokemon mat. And I'm like, thank you very much. And then the person that stole it from me comes by and says, oh, you found it. I'm like, yeah, you stole it. And I was really mad at this point. Very, very upset, disappointed. I just lost a friend right there. Like, I know, I considered him somewhat as a friend, a guy that goes to my locals and whatnot, and it just, like, dropped from there. Yeah, no, he stole it. So, I tell him you stole it, and he says, no, I didn't, and then I say it, like, 6 times in a row, and then I finally say, what do I say? I said it again, and he finally changes his answer, and he says, because I kept saying, you stole it, you stole it, you stole it. And he said, no, dude, I saw someone else steal it. I'm like, then how come you didn't tell me? Because I told you I lost it. And from there he goes, we keep doing the same thing. And he's like, oh, I was just joking with you. And from there I just went, wow, you were joking with me? That's not joking, dude. That is just messed up. So I pretty much got really angry from there. And I just walked away, steamed off, blew off my steam out in the other room. But I was just pissed off, and I don't talk to that guy anymore. So, yeah. So let's talk about what actually happened that day. Before round 1, that all happened. So I really want to get a lot of video coverage, but it didn't happen because it was just too dang crowded. I couldn't. It was too much work. I don't know, there wasn't really anything to get video of because there was just people walking around like crazy. It was like 1,000 Yu-Gi-Oh players walking around in like a thin hallway. That's like ridiculous. That's why we need to go downstairs. But yeah, so I really didn't get that much video coverage. I did get a cool deck profile, which I'll show you a little later this week. But yeah, so round 1 started. I was pretty happy. Got my mat back. Told the people around me my story. I just like to talk a lot. If you guys heard my story, then before I just told it, you guys know I like to talk a lot. So yeah, I sit down, meet my opponent. He seems pretty chill, and start playing, and he's playing water, and I open up pretty bad, but I can't blame it on the hands. So I open like double rat, double magician, something, which is, is part of the game. And I just tried to grind it out as long as possible, and he summons Undyne and just wins the game 1 from there. Game 2, same thing pretty much happened, and I pretty much lost from there. So I lost round 1, which is like the worst thing you can possibly do. From there I was feeling kind of sad, but I'm just really happy I got my map back. So that's the positive, I guess, to the whole side of the story. Then round 2 I was sent to this little small room where I saw a lot of people misplay, and it made me mad, but that happened. So, sat down, I was playing against, what's his name? He has a YouTube channel, it's something Ninja, I'll post it right there. He is a very cool guy. We talked a little bit about Yugi tubing and whatnot. He was playing in Zectors. I play him. I happened to shock lock him like twice, and I felt really bad. I opened up, game 1, I opened up like, double warning, judgment, magician, shark, and I'm like, wish I had this last game, but it didn't happen. So I happened to win that match, and then round 3 started, and I played against Sam's in the same room, the really small one where a whole bunch of people misplay, and I happened to win that. I did misplay once, speaking of the room of misplays, and I didn't bottomless the guy that flips the monster, what just destroys the face down monster in defense position. It's a 6 samurai. I don't know what it's called. Destroy the monster, the face down defense position monster, just send it to the graveyard automatically, kind of like a Aaron, but doesn't send it back to the deck, if that's Aaron. I think that is. And then round 4, I happened to play against Dino Rabbits, and this Dino Rabbit ran Alexandrite Dragon. And I had Thunder King on the board and Warning set, so I'm like, okay, he can bring out Capitals and Crash, that's fine with me. I like to keep my warning, but he happened to bring out double Alexandrite Dragon, and that just lost me the match pretty much, because like I just like, wow, you know, can't really do anything from there, and then I warning whatever it brings out, and I end up taking more life points. It's ridiculous. So I think Alexander Dragon's a good tech, but Comic Freak for Life actually had to play this guy. So he played him round 1 actually, and I think he's going to do some talk about it, but he had Comic Freak for Life has Sangan set, and his opponent had Sangan and he tributes for Caius. And this is the same person I played with the Dino Rabbit deck that runs Alexandrite Dragon. So at the end of the match, I didn't see any Caiuses or anything. And I asked him, how many Caiuses he ran? He said 2, and I thought that was like really interesting. It was pretty crazy. It's like Chaos Rabbit or something. It was pretty cool. But I was really upset that I lost Alexandrite Dragon. But things happen. So, round 5, pretty much I can't lose anymore after this. And I end up losing round 5 to Agents. Kind of what happened in round 1. Just not opening up ideal hands, which happens, but I can't blame it on that. So, yeah. That was my regional trip, I guess you could say. It wasn't the greatest, it wasn't the worst. Really nothing. I did plus a little bit, but I didn't plus during the regional, and I didn't plus in the morning. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. Overall, I didn't meet any people who watch my channel, which, you know, it happens, but maybe in the next regional, like in May or March, you guys might stop by and say hi. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video / story / discussion / no more slashes, but you get the point. So I hope you guys all have a great